Hello, everyone. I'm Ellie from Nourishment Redacted, and welcome to Lioness Lifestyle Live.
And I am Cristie at Meeting Wellness. I'm so glad you guys stopped by to meet with us this evening.
And I'm Adrian Gledhill, your Biggest Loser Carnivore. And we're really excited about our guest today. She's a repeat, and we are so excited to ask her about some upcoming things that she just had happen. If you could put some QQQ or question, if you have any questions for her, we'll send them on through.
And you guys know what that means. I hope you like that. It's time for the roar of the week, and we have a good one for you. So without further ado, this is from Sydney Snyder saying, been carnivore for 4 years and 4 months. And I would say it takes an average of 6 months to become completely fat adapted and see real results. Although some results do come rapidly, I noticed within a few months a lowering of my blood sugar, insulin levels, inflammation, and allergies. It only gets better with time. So thank you so much for that awesome comment. If you guys want to be next week's Roar of the Week, make a comment on any the replay on any one of our channels, and I'll hunt through those and pick one to shout out next week on the show.
All right, everyone, let's give a big roar welcome to our guest tonight, Coach Natalie from Keto Bikini Secrets.
Hey, ladies, lionesses.
So great to see you, Coach Nat. Welcome back.
Thank you.
I'm so thankful. We're also thankful that not only are you being on the show, but you came back. So that means you must like us. So thank you so much.
We didn't scare you away with our roaring or anything.
What's not to like? This is the tribe. I want to be in the den.
Awesome.
Perfect. Well, you're always welcome. Welcome. We know that you recently had a bikini competition. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. And this time, actually, it was not a competition, which actually made it an even better experience than competing. It was at a competition. So the OCB, the Conquer in Baltimore, Maryland. The OCB is a natural bodybuilding federation, a drug-tested federation. I don't compete with the OCB, but Angel Competition Bikinis, which is one of probably really the largest bikini maker, bikini creation company in the industry. They were partnering with the OCB, and they partner with different federations, bodybuilding federations, and they host Angel fashion shows, Angel Competition Bikinis fashion shows at these certain shows throughout the year. And so competitors or pros or amateurs or even women who have never competed before can participate in the fashion show. There's an application process through Angel, and then you have your Angel suit made, your own custom suit made. They send you this whole incredible fashion show package with all kinds of cool stuff in it, a tanning kit, an Angel jacket, and athletic wear, and oh my gosh, makeup and jewelry, and then of course your bikini, and this super soft, luxurious backstage blanket, just all kinds of fun stuff. And they treat you like royalty. They're just amazing. You get on a consult and you have a bikini designed for you. So this was a brand new style bikini, a totally different thing than anything I've ever done before. They do have a couture bikini line that you can go with. That is more the style of my federation. So I went with a couture design that I can then use for my own federation when I do compete again this year. So that was my goal going in, was to do something that puts me in the prep mode and that I can prep for, but I don't need to be stage lean. I don't need to be competitive in terms of my physique. So I don't have to be incredibly lean. And the coolest thing was that the fashion show part of this this competition. There were some competitors that were actually competing that weekend. But for the most part, most of us were not competing, and we're not even in stage lean condition. So you get to see all these women showcasing fitness at all different levels, some on their journey that have not gotten to their goal yet, others who are pros. There were others who are pros like myself who are more in their off-season bodies. So it was really celebrating women's bodies in all different shapes and sizes at all different stages of our journey. And it was such an incredible experience because the pressure was not on. It was nothing but community and love and support and empowerment. So it was an amazing experience all around.
How long did you know that you were going to get this experience, and how did you apply, or did they find you, or?
Yeah, so I've been on their email list for a while. So I got the notification. I had heard about these fashion shows before. I actually have a former client who is now competing in the NPC as a master's in her 60s. And she has done a fashion show before, and some of my friends have done them before. And so I'd heard about them. But I'd always seen them as a part of like the NPC, IFBB, and the OCB and other federations that I don't compete with. So they weren't really on my radar. And then I got the email about the Baltimore show, and I said, oh my gosh, this is like an hour away from me. It would be easy for me to do that. I'm, kind of in this stage of my season where I don't feel super comfortable I wouldn't feel super comfortable getting on stage in a competition style bikini because they are incredibly revealing and you see it all. But I thought this would be a good challenge to do. So I think it was, maybe 6 weeks out, I decided to do it. I applied maybe 8 weeks out. I got accepted. Then I went through the process and I committed about 6 weeks out. So I only had, a short period of time to get ready. And I think this may lend itself to whatever we want to talk about tonight. I don't know what questions you have planned for me, but I'm 41 years old. I have recently begrudgingly admitted to myself that I am starting perimenopause. And that's a difficult reality to accept. I didn't want to believe it was happening so soon. But all that to say, my hormone levels have not been optimal for a while. It's been a year or two, a couple of years now that I've been working on it with my naturopath, and I'm not on hormone replacement therapy. So I'm dealing with super low testosterone. Just a month ago, or I think it was about a month and a half ago, I got my blood work done again, and all of my hormones were completely bottomed out. So it was like, okay, this is really happening now. It's not just something I can do with my diet or take a supplement and fix it. So I'm finally at that stage where I'm ready to look into hormone replacement. But all that to say, it was not easy to drop body fat like it has been in my past preps. And so I am in a stage where I am relating more than ever to my clients because most of my clientele is above 40, some postmenopausal, some perimenopausal, and anywhere in between. And I can truly understand the struggle that it's simply doing the exact same things you were doing before, just don't work as well. It will still happen, but you're going to have to throw a lot more at it. And if you go more and more and more extreme, then it's only going to exacerbate the problem. So all that to say, it was like a loss of 3 pounds in 6 weeks. It's about half the rate that I would normally lose. I'm used to being like, okay, how much time do we have? Each week, it'll be a pound a week. We'll get there. We'll just knock it out, right? Not the case. So, definitely made me think a little bit more about my competition season this year and, how I want to do things and all of that. And accept more. I've done this before with photo shoots where I booked a photo shoot with a team, with a bunch of other ladies, knowing I would not be stage lean, and doing it on purpose to get myself more comfortable in my skin at all the different seasons. Because as a bodybuilder, we don't live stage lean. We just don't walk around like that all the time. Or even really close to that. We're not like 5 pounds away from hopping on a stage at any given moment. Unless, there are pros who are competing many times throughout the season, trying to get to that next level or trying to get that number one spot. And it might be a little different for them. But for the majority of competitors, we take an off season, we put on 10, 15, 20 pounds. For women, I would say that's probably about a good average. Some go even higher than that. Some go up to 30 pounds in the off season and then take it all off for a stage. And that's not an overnight process. Especially not for those of us over 40 dealing with hormone issues.
Well, first, I would just like to say that's amazing because, I hate trying to take weight off. So props to all of you wonderful ladies who do that. I don't know how often the cycle goes. I thought of so many questions when you were talking. But since you were talking about perimenopause and thinking about hormone replacement therapy, if you do something like that, what type of therapy are you leaning toward? And do you know the data on, once you start that therapy, will it help you get back to being able to lose the weight the way you could before?
Yeah, I just started going down the rabbit hole probably just a few months ago. The first year and a half that I was dealing with the low hormones, particularly for me, it was just testosterone. For the first year and a half. This last month was the only time I've ever seen everything bottom out. And I had stopped taking all of my daily supplements because I've been doing a lot more rigorous testing on everything. I've been really interested in optimizing my health. And so I did a GI map. I did a hormone map, which is kind of like a Dutch test, but I didn't do the Dutch branded test, but I did a hormone map. I did a stool. Well, the GI 360 map was a stool test. I did the SIBO breath test. I did an organic acids test. I pretty much ran the gamut of every functional naturopathic recommended test you can get, just to see everything. And so along those lines, I did a hair mineral analysis. And that was one of the first ones that I did. And so what I discovered was, okay, my copper and zinc were both low, but my copper was even lower in relation to my zinc, because with minerals, it's all about balancing. And so I had been kind of going down the rabbit hole learning about copper, and decided to do some testing that tells you a little bit more about your copper balance levels with other minerals and metals. And it was certain markers I had to test that the requirements were to stop all supplementation of any kind, herbal and mineral. So I took everything out for a week. And this is the longest time that I've ever not been on any supplements at all, including my minerals. And that was when I decided to also go ahead and get my hormones tested again, because it was around that time of the month that I typically get those tested. So I thought, well, what the heck, let's do that at the same time. And I saw everything bottom out. And it made me think, I've been working with a naturopathic doctor for 2.5 years or 3 years now. And there are some supplements I've been taking, including DHEA and pregnenolone, to help the mother hormones, to help drive my other hormones, namely trying to get testosterone up. But I've never had any issues with estrogen or progesterone until I took all of that out. And that's when it made me think, perhaps the DHEA and pregnenolone, the time that I've been taking it, have been helping to keep those other hormones up and striving to get that struggling testosterone up, although it just really never, it kind of would go up and down, but under the lowest level, never came up into the normal range. So it started to make me think, okay, possibly the only reason why my estrogen and progesterone have stayed where they were is maybe because I was on those supplements. And so once I started taking them again, I haven't tested again yet, but I did get my cycle back this month. I didn't get it. I skipped it last month when I also noticed that all the hormones were low. And by the way, because I did a full hormone panel, I also saw that the LH and the FSH, yes, were both super high, which is basically telling you you're in menopause. So everything was pure menopause. And then the hormone map basically confirmed all of that as well. So I was like, this is interesting. And now I have my cycle back. So I suspect that those supplements I am taking are helping. And it's interesting. I've been really diving in. I don't know if you all are familiar with Dr. Mary Claire Haver. She is like everywhere all of a sudden. She's one of those that, pop up like on the interwebs, and then all of a sudden you see them everywhere. It was like Dr. Chafee, right? It's like out of nowhere. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing this person everywhere. Well, she is always trying to educate women about what you need to know, how to approach your practitioner, what to ask your doctor, what to make sure you're getting when you're asking about hormone therapy. So I'm certainly not an expert on it myself, but Dr. Mary Claire Haver, and then this other woman I found recently, I found the video that was the video that answered all of my questions. It was literally this morning. I kid you not. There are no coincidences under the sun. Clearly, we're meant to be talking about this right now.
Yeah.
But I have to go into my history and tell you who it was because I've seen her a little bit. I'm not as familiar with her name, but she confirmed what I had been going through. She went through the exact same thing. She said, we suspect or we expect all of our hormones to just drop at some point in time, and now we're going into menopause, right? Or we're in menopause. That's not how it happens. It can be up, down, all around for up to 10 years on perimenopause. And it could be different hormones at different times. So for her in particular, she mentioned early in her 40s, it was her testosterone first. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's me. And then she described, they talk about low libido being the sign of low testosterone. It is low libido, losing muscle mass or inability to gain muscle mass, and more difficulty losing body fat, which that has been my existence the last couple of years, right? I know I gain muscle very easily. I know I usually lose body fat pretty easily. It has not happened that way, at least not according to the data. I do think my pictures tell a different story, but at least according to what the bioelectrical impedance scales are telling me and things of that nature, it would look like I didn't gain any muscle and I haven't lost body fat. So she mentioned that the libido thing, here it is, Dr. Susan Hardwick. Dr. Susan Hardwick, and then there's a hyphen, and I don't see the rest of her last name, but she's the other one, redhead, Hardwick Smith. All right, so those two ladies, and then there's a bunch of others, but those are the two right now that I've been getting a lot of great information from. They both mentioned that the Menopause Society
waiting room.
Yes,
we're not going to spend a lot of time here because we don't want you to wait. But just a few minutes of filling out paperwork. We do it all electronically, and then you'll be guided into the rest of the office. So come on back and let's take a look.
Yeah, that was her.
Okay, great. I just wanted to share that just in case anyone wanted to look into that.
Yeah, and Mary Claire Haver on her site, I forget what it's called. She actually has a site called something else, but she has a referral list of practitioners. So you can like type in your state and you can find people in your area that her clinic recommends if you can't work with them locally. And then she and I think both of them point to the American Menopause Society, and they have a recommended list as well, or they have a list where you can find practitioners. So that was something I've done recently. I have a whole list to go through now. I need to find a new doctor in my area anyway, because we're new to the area. So I thought this is the perfect time. Let me find someone who offers HRT and not just bioidentical hormonal replacement. But Cristie, to your question, there's a lot of controversy out there about testosterone replacement. And that's the biggest, like, it's not being recommended for women. And then you get into the discussion boards and you're seeing two sides of the coin. Never, ever, ever use pellets, and pellets saved my life. And from what I understand, and from the women that I know personally, who I work with as clients, past clients, friends, BioT, which is the brand name of the pellets, they swear by it. Like, they night and day different, all their symptoms gone, and they feel amazing. But then you have a lot of people who are against the pellets, mainly because they're saying it's too high of a dose, you're getting too much at once, and then it kind of dissipates over time. So there's pros and cons that I'm hearing about all the different kinds. The creams, from what I understand about the creams, especially if you're active, it can be very difficult to keep up with, because you have to do it, I think, 2 times a day, and then you can't touch anything else or anyone else. You can't touch your pets, you can't touch your spouse, because it's literally like concentrated on your hands and, you know, putting it on your skin, and then you can't get wet, you can't sweat. So a lot of active people prefer the pellets because it's injected in sub under your skin. And then it basically is supposed to, you know, dissipate throughout your body over time. And then after 3 or 4 months, you get them replaced. So there's a lot of pros and cons. I'm hearing the oral, you know, I'm hearing that that's not as good. You got to do your own research on these things. But for me, I'm interested in the BioT pellets, and I'll probably look for, to start with, a practitioner that believes in that and that is willing to prescribe that. Because I think a lot of the issues that women are running into is that their doctors are not willing to prescribe, particularly the testosterone. They might only do estrogen and progesterone. So you actually have to really do more research to find people out there who would even be willing to have that conversation with you.
So my sister-in-law gets the testosterone pellet, and now I'm really wishing I got an update on how she has been liking it. I know she's had it, you know, re-injected a few times. I don't even know if she's still doing it. As of 6 months ago, I think she had 2 or 3, but I just haven't talked to her about it. So I'll have to, like, get the 411 on that and get back to you.
Yeah,
she was in the same boat. She's like almost, or I think she just turned 40 in January. She just turned 40. But at 39, her testosterone was low. And I know for at least the first, I mean, she was liking it at first because she got more than 1. That much I can tell you. Whether she's still doing it at this point in time, I'm not sure. So if you were to get that replacement, would it help with the symptoms of not being able to lose the fat or like putting on the muscle? Would it help with that? Like,
it should, it absolutely should, okay. Because, well, and even estrogen, right? So when we get to that point where we are losing estrogen and we need to replace that, you know, estrogen has a major impact on our bone density. So a lot of the time, here we are, we're lifting, we're eating our protein, we're dialing all these things in. And so many of my ladies in the 50s and 60s struggling to put on muscle at that age, those hormones make a big difference, testosterone and estrogen. So yeah, it should, absolutely. That's what I expect it to do. As a matter of fact, and they talked about it on the video I was watching earlier this morning, bodybuilding is notorious for abusing testosterone for that reason. When you talk about, so I mentioned the OCB, for example. The OCB is a natural drug tested federation. They and most natural drug tested federations do not allow any testosterone supplementation whatsoever in their athletes. So I could not compete with them if I was on testosterone, which I actually have a bone to pick with that, because it's meant to be, it's a performance enhancing drug. It's considered it's a part of the banned list of substances. You can get therapeutic use exceptions for certain medications. So like if you're hypothyroid and you're on thyroid medication from your doctor, you can get a therapeutic use exemption. You can do that for other forms of bioidentical hormone replacement. You cannot do it for testosterone. And I hope that that is something that changes. I hope that instead they would require you to submit your test results, because I understand if you're taking enough to get you to super physiological levels of testosterone, then yes, you have an advantage. But for those of us who have zero testosterone, if we don't take something just to get us up to a baseline level, we're the ones at a disadvantage. And the whole point of these natural federations is to level the playing field. And that's not leveling the playing field, in my opinion. So
interesting we're talking about this, because about a year ago, a good friend of mine I'm 40 as well. She's 40, and she goes, "So Adrian, are you worried about your perimenopause?" And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "Maybe you have that, but I don't." And then as I've been clearing up some of my SIRS stuff, it turns out I do have perimenopause. Bad. Like really bad. And so what we're starting on just this cycle is some progesterone. And it was based on my testing. My testosterone actually came back through the roof, which doesn't match
really?
symptoms at all. But he said that that was just a sign that my androgens were off. I might be saying it wrong.
Yep.
I'm off. And he said, even though it didn't look like it on that one day of the test, I'm estrogen dominant. So we're going to start some progesterone. So it'd be interesting to have you back at the end of the summer, and we can talk about, like, because you're taking a different path than I am, and how did it go?
Yeah.
Hopefully we both say, "Gosh darn it, we're feeling so much better." Because I've been working my butt off too. And then and my cycle is so bad. It's 21 days, 21 days, 45 days, 21 days, 21 days.
Yes.
A month ago, a month ago, in a 5-day period, I gained 13 pounds, and I did not change my food. I was eating Lion diet, and I did not change my activity, and I gained 13 pounds in 5 days, and it hasn't gone away yet.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
That's enough to like just make you just want to hide and cry. Because I've been working so freaking hard.
Incredibly frustrating. And as content creators, we need our energy and our focus to be there. We need to feel like getting in front of the camera. And I know for me, the last couple of years have definitely been out of character for me, of just apathy, general apathy toward working out, apathy toward getting on a video and taking action and doing things that would normally be so easy to do. And it's these things that we don't really pinpoint what's going on here. You know, if we're not tuned in, we talked about it last time about the importance of being tuned into ourselves and our bodies. When we do lean into that and we're observant of what's going on with us, we start to realize, wait a minute, this is out of character for me. Something's off here. And then we can dig deeper and figure out what it is. I'm glad you figured it out and got that testing done. Because the other thing too, with perimenopause, it's so up and down depending on when you test. You could get everything looks fine, or you could get this is out of whack, or this total other thing is out of whack. It's crazy.
There's no way in reality I have high testosterone. I very much have the symptoms of low testosterone. So something was just really wonky that day.
Yeah.
Like I do not have an amazing drive.
And well, you know, PCOS is a high androgen state. So when you're out of balance and you actually have too much androgen, that's what can drive PCOS. And a lot of people get it mixed up when they have low testosterone. I've been seeing some of this lately because I've started getting more like hormonal acne. And it's the kind that's like the cystic, deep acne that I never had before. And it might just be spots, but it's like, it's a deep, what do you call those things? It's like a deep it feels tough. I have one right here.
Yes.
Like
And it takes months to go away. Like it takes a
Yes.
really long time. Yeah. And it'll leave like sometimes a dark spot too. And then that takes even longer to go away. Mm-hmm.
Yes, different than any acne I've ever experienced in my life, any breakouts before. And a lot of the time they get it, they think, you know, you have high androgens, because when they say that that's a symptom around your jawline, the cystic acne. But here I was, complete opposite end of the spectrum, having the same symptom. So it's really interesting, because a lot of the symptoms can be the same from hormone imbalance one way or the other.
So you ladies that have had your hormones tested, because I haven't, I'm 48, like I need to. My doctor refused. She wouldn't do it. So I'm waiting to see my OBGYN, because she says she does them at 48. The last time I saw her, I was 47. I just have to make that appointment and go in. But so Get Fit is asking, what is considered low testosterone for a female? What's the normal baseline?
So from the ranges we've been working with, under 8 is under the range. So the baseline was 8. I don't remember what it went up to, because I've been under 8 for so long. But mine started out, I think it was 7, and then went down to 3, and then 0, or it might have started at 0. And then I think we got it up to 3, and then 7, and then came back to 3. And so might have been hovering anywhere from 0 to 7, but never hit that 8 mark or above. But there are athletes that I know that are natural athletes, for example, and their testosterone's in the 20s. And then from what Dr. Hardwick shared, she was saying that when they're doing testosterone replacement, they like to err on the side of caution, and they go between 50 and 100 for the dose. So I don't know if that gets you into the 50 to 100 range by blood work. But she said a lot of the time, the problems women have with testosterone replacement is that they're overdosed. And that's when they're trying to get you into the 200 to 300 range. And it doesn't need to be that high.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And I should also mention this too, because a lot of my clients have this problem too. A lot of doctors will refuse to run a hormone panel for you. Push and ask anyway. And then if they still refuse to do it, you can go outside of insurance. And I always get all of my testing done. Most of my hormone testing I do through Life Extension. It's a supplement company, and they offer testing, and I got most of those tests I mentioned to you, I got directly from them. Did not have to have a doctor's recommendation script, nothing. And their pricing for the female hormone panels is pretty decent compared to a lot of other direct labs. They bundle them, and then they'll do deals from time to time. And so I usually wait for the deals to come around, and then I grab a bundle. But also my newest favorite place to go is ultalabs.com, ULTA labs. They have every different lab you can imagine. But I think theirs is all blood work. So if you wanted to do like the urine or the saliva, you'd have to go elsewhere for that. But Life Extension has some of that.
Yeah, my hormone was a spit test. Was yours?
No, I've done all serum, all blood. I did the GI, or the hormone map that I did was a urine. But I've never done the saliva, and I'm curious about it because I've heard
it was really
it might
cool.
be more accurate.
That's what I heard too. And then they had me spit throughout the day. So they really gathered data from the whole day. And they told me a specific day to do it, which was really funny because is my cycle going to be 21 or 47 days this month? We don't know. Right. But if you could just please pick 5 days before your period's going to come, that'd be great.
Yes,
but I just happened to get it on the right day that month. So
that's always, I have my fingers crossed. Like, well, I think it might be this day. So we're just going to count back 7 and just hope that that's right. But yeah, okay. I'm curious. Did you do it through your doctor?
I did it through my ZRT lab, and it's in Oregon. But I've also done it through Life Extension, and that was great too. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about is, you know what some people are thinking out there, because all our people are carnivores. Why don't you just eat more fat? That should fix it. I just want to add my piece there that I have been eating meats and I have been eating fats and I have had a very clean diet and it didn't heal it. It didn't.
Yep. I tried that as well. Got my fats up higher than they'd ever been before. Did that for a while. Did not move the needle. What's interesting is I played with carbs. I actually took the fats.
Yes, that's the next thing they'll say. Play with some carbs. How did that go for you?
So, and I didn't take the fats down very far. We were basically just bulking. I don't like to use the term bulking, but I was in a building season. So, and my naturopath is very much about, okay, if you put on a little more body fat and if you get your calories up higher, then it should help, right? So we started with the fats first. I think we started with the fats first, got those up like 150. I mean, I weigh, I'm 125 pounds soaking wet. So I went over my body weight in fat. That didn't move the needle. Then I kept the fats maybe around 120. It was still a pretty decent amount of fats. And then I started bringing the carbs up. That did move the needle a little bit, but it still didn't get it into optimal range. And I wasn't feeling great. I had other things that were just like feeling sluggish and bloated and all the same kind of reasons why I took carbs out in the first place, right? A little brain fog, all just not functioning as well. So, and we had gotten all the way up to about 100 grams of carbs. So I pulled those back down. I felt better when I would do more under 70 and then 50 and then maybe around 30 to 50. And so now I pretty much play in either carnivore ranges anywhere up to 30 grams of carbs a day. That's where I feel my best. But so neither the carbs, the fats, the carbs and the fats, like getting all the calories up, getting up to, I got about up to, I pushed my higher levels of body fat, higher levels of body weight, to the point where I was uncomfortable in my body. And I was like, yeah, you know what? We had a chat with my naturopath and he was like, I was like, I don't think pushing body fat and pushing calories is really going to help us get anywhere at this point. And he agreed. And that's when I started going in the other direction and lost a little bit. And I do feel better, just like, a few pounds down, but yeah, somebody mentioned Dr. Bright, and how she says, there's no such thing as perimenopause. And I mean, she doesn't mean that there's no such thing as the stage. She means that you should be able to fly through it without any symptoms, is what she means, right? Like, we are going to lose our hormones. That is going to happen. We are going to go into menopause. But yeah, that was the comment. Exactly. And I've heard her speak on this, but she believes that if we just eat a species appropriate diet and high fat, then we just won't we won't experience any of the symptoms of perimenopause. We'll just go right into menopause smooth. And I don't know about y'all, but I mean, I've heard some of the chats with a lot of the long-term carnivores, females, and some of them had really great, easy transitions. Others did not, despite being strict carnivore. So we are unique individuals, and there's just no two people are exactly the same and are going to have, no problems at all just with diet alone.
Yeah, since I had a partial hysterectomy 4 years ago, that's why I want to get my hormone levels tested, because I have no idea. Like, maybe that's why I'm having a hard time losing this weight. Maybe that's what it is. And some people have said that to me. Well, you are 48. Maybe you're going into menopause. And I'm like, maybe I am, but I don't know, because I don't have that monthly reminder. I don't have any other symptoms. I feel okay otherwise. So it's like, maybe it is. So I'm excited kind of in a way to get them tested, because at least that would give me data, right? At least then I'd have data.
Yes.
I feel like you would know, because the symptoms are awful. Like, I'll get this
I don't have
brain
hot
fog
flashes.
that is unbelievable. Like, very bad brain fog. And you know, how could you not notice 13 pounds of inflammation? Like, my clothes don't fit anymore, you know?
Right. Well, I've definitely put on weight and I've tried a lot of things and it's just kind of sticking there, you know? So that's what makes me think.
Your hormones could be low, even though your symptoms aren't extreme.
Right.
Yeah, because the symptoms are going to present differently for different people too. This was a fascinating thing that she shared on the video this morning. And this was another one of those like aha moments for me, because I don't experience this. Is like, maybe it's TMI for some of the guys out there, but I don't experience like the vaginal dryness they talk about. But low libido in terms of like not feeling the desire. And this is what they were explaining. They were explaining, I loved how she broke this down. She was like, desire and arousal are not the same thing. You can still be able to get aroused, but you could take it or leave it. Like you're apathetic toward it. You're not feeling like you want to, unless your man wants to, and he's approaching you and he turns you on, and you can still get turned on with some work on his part, right? But you're just not like in the mood on your own randomly. And I was like, oh, that is just that's exactly how I would describe it. But yeah, some women get pain with intercourse because they're experiencing that dryness.
I'm sorry I've been so quiet. I'm just absorbing everything because I don't know anything about this subject at all, and I feel like I need to.
Tell us how old you are, Ellie.
You again.
The baby.
34.
She's 34, Coach Nat.
How awesome that you're getting this.
Good. I'm so glad you're not having perimenopause at 34.
Right.
Thank God. Because some people have reported in their mid and early 30s having these symptoms. But what I've been researching is that they're saying that this actually isn't natural. It's caused by our toxic environment. That's what I've read.
Yeah, the endocrine
and so it's happening more and more, and it's not a good thing. But to me, that also makes me feel like maybe we can do something about it. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe honestly, it's healable.
The number one thing beyond, even before diet, I hesitate to say that, but there are so many endocrine disruptors in our environment, and the most are in our personal care products. And this is why it impacts women even more than men. Because
we have an expert coming on next month to talk about that.
Oh yes, I will be all over that one. Yeah, because like we're putting stuff on our skin, on our face, and our hair all the time. And then all the things we use in our homes, and we're usually the ones doing that work, right? So, years ago when I first went paleo and I was all about the natural living, right? I got rid of all the chemicals and I replaced everything with natural. And then the pandemic happened and the budgetary restraints came in, and then I went right back to the chemicals. And then it was maybe a year ago that I just started like slowly getting things back out. And now, ever since all this has been going on, I'm like, okay, I've replaced my shampoo, my conditioner, I'm starting to replace as many things as I can, and go natural on, everything that I can, because that is one of the biggest problems.
So what shampoo and conditioner do you use?
Oh, okay.
Oh gosh, I need to find the brand. So I don't know if y'all know this, but I am a nutritional therapy practitioner. So I do have a FullScript account. FullScript is a supplement dispensary. So I order all of my own supplements through there, and then I make recommendations for clients through there. So I found a brand on there because I can research and read all the ingredients and all the information before I buy anything. And so I found a brand on there, and I don't remember the name of it because it's the first time I've purchased it. But it's a mint. It's one of those. It's like a mint rosemary. They use essential oils. But so I'll find the brand for y'all. And I can also send y'all the link to my FullScript if y'all want to include that in the.
Yeah, we'll put it in the show notes down below if you send that to us when the show's over.
Cool.
So adaptive.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask this question. Adaptive Carnivores is asking, should we get this tested for my wife? She is 34, but we have been on carnivore only 3 months. So I would just say, like, this is me being not a medical professional and not even having my own hormones tested at 48. But like, I wish I had baseline numbers. I wish I did. So I would say, you know, like, I wish I'm a lean mass hyperresponder. Like, I wish I knew what my cholesterol was before. Like, I'm pretty sure it wasn't over 400 or whatever, like it is now. But I wish I knew exactly what it was, you know? So and then all those other things like my vitamin D and all that stuff. So I would say getting it tested now, I mean, being only 34, that's the same age as Ellie up there right above me. She's feeling fine. She's feeling great, you know, but you don't know until you have baseline numbers. So at least then you would have something to sort of check it against, you know, if she does start feeling some symptoms. But I'm going to bow out now because I'm not an expert. Let some of you other ladies talk.
Question. So what are some symptoms that you might have, especially like in the early 30s, and if, you know, the beginning signs, like what are those? I don't even know that. Oh my gosh.
Gosh, I mean, it could be, there's so many that runs the gamut. I never had any hot flashes, but I did have night sweats. And it would be intermittent. So not all the time, but like randomly, I would wake up in the middle of the night, like drenched in sweat. I have to change. So I suspect that's like really from hot flashes in the middle of the night, right? But, you know, I also experienced some weird things with my cycle when I went carnivore, when I first went carnivore. So I would say to this question about, you know, you've been carnivore only 3 months. What I would really wish you would have done, and what we all would have done, was baseline our numbers before we went carnivore, right? And I do have some blood work I was doing with my doctor because we started working together when I was coming out of eating disorder recovery. So I had been eating carbs. I'd been allowing all foods, which put on a lot of excess body fat. And so when I first started working with him, we went back to keto. We basically went back paleo, keto, and then eventually I went carnivore. And so I do have some to where when I look back at my numbers, I can say, oh, that's when I was still having carbs. That's when I had gone keto. That's when I went carnivore. And so I can kind of see along that timeline. So that would be the best thing to do. Of course, when's the best time to plant a tree? You know, if you didn't do it yesterday, do it today. I would say go ahead and start. And then I love quarterly blood work. Some people like to do every 6 months, but it's never too soon to start, especially women's hormones. Get them when you're still cycling, because how are you going to know what's not right if you never checked it when you were cycling? And a lot of the time, the doctors that I hear talking about this stuff say it would be better to start and get that baseline.
Can I tell you some symptoms for this person? Because I wouldn't realize that this was happening until afterwards. I would need like 4 or 5 symptoms before I went, oh, that's what that is. So like all of a sudden I'll be incredibly irritable. Like everything is cringy. You chewing is cringy. You breathing on me is cringy. You talking to me, everything is cringy. And you're like, why am I so moody? Damn, you know. Then next thing that'll happen is out of nowhere, I just pee my pants. Like I have to go pee, it just comes out. It just comes out. It's not a muscle thing because it only happens 4 days before my period starts. Another one, spotting. There will be spotting like 4 to 5 days before my cycle. Another one, headaches, night sweats. Just, you know, the 21-day cycles instead of 28 days. Being so tired that you're like, I just need to go to bed. I mean, you just can't get anything done. Just horribly low sex drive. Like, please don't ever touch me again. You know, do we need to add someone to our marriage? Because this is just no, thank you. Just joking about that one.
Proxy.
You're just like, please, do we have to? Every time you're like, I know you are the sexiest beast I've ever seen in my life, but I still, no thanks. You know, just those are some of my symptoms.
Oh yeah, that's definitely some stuff I didn't think of, but you're right. Yeah. You know, the 21 to 23, 24 day cycles threw me for a loop. I never would have thought that that was a perimenopause sign. I thought you start your cycle starts lengthening out, and then you start skipping periods, and then you eventually just don't have them anymore. I had no idea that it can go in the other direction. You get it twice a month. So yeah, that was a big one.
Wow.
So it's really
It's so
fun.
funny. Yeah, it sounds fun. No, sounds like a total nightmare. But obviously, you guys have been taking care of your health, and I would assume that would help at all. Like, would you recommend like getting your hormones tested before having any symptoms?
Yeah, I love Cristie's explanation. I thought that was really good.
Okay, cool.
I love that you're bringing this up because
Hey,
I'm
thanks.
literally
I
going
appreciate
through this
that.
right now.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's great for you to know too, Ellie, because it's becoming so common, even with people who, Coach Nat, you've been taking care of your body. You're a bodybuilder. You've been researching things throughout time. You've been seeing a naturopath. You've been working on these things, and it even happened to you. So it's happening to a lot of people.
Yeah, and I definitely thought, we thought, me and my naturopath, because when I first got the low testosterone, it was right at the end of a prep. So we just thought, oh, it's because you're getting really lean, calories are getting really low, it'll come back. It never did, right? But if we're not staying on top of these things, then we're not going to know. It's always better to know.
Okay, that's good. It's so funny
it's because our whole life has been low fat. And so our hormones, our whole life have been like, please give me some love.
Yes.
Yeah, I hope that this, I'll have some time before these symptoms start, because before I did carnivore, my period was crazy. Like through every 3 months, every 2 months, like I never knew when it was coming, incredibly irregular. But I was also 240 pounds, and I think my hormones were just so messed up. And then since I've been on carnivore now over a year, now my cycles are 30 days. And so I'm just like, hallelujah. But now I'm like, oh no, how long is that going to last? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And here's another thing too, is when we first we make a big change to our diet or our lifestyle, our hormones can go wonky for a little while. And it happens to a lot of women when we first go carnivore or first go keto, especially if you're going from something more extreme and you're making like a quick change overnight. This is why usually I don't recommend my clients like diving right in, right? A lot of men can like go from standard American diet to fasting 24 hours and be totally fine and feel amazing. If we did that, our hormones would freak out. Our bodies would not be happy with it. Our bodies want to maintain some homeostasis. And the minute they think something is up for us women, endocrine system shuts down because it is not the time to procreate. So for us, when we're making dietary changes, we could absolutely have some changes for a little while. So the other, that question about, 3 months into carnivore, usually my recommendation would be to wait at least 6 months after making a big change, a big lifestyle or dietary change. Lifestyle meaning, let's say you just started working out. You don't want to go and get your blood work immediately because it may be wonky because you just changed something. So we usually want to give it a little bit of time. But if you haven't baselined yet, I say baseline and then set a regular interval to get these things checked consistently.
So Simpson has a really good question. It's the last one we have, and I know our hour's almost up. I just wanted to make sure we get this in. So she's asking, do postmenopausal women still have hormone fluctuations like younger menstruating women? That's not something I know the answer to.
From what I have learned recently, no. And that's actually a benefit of
phenomenal.
I mean, here's the thing though, is that it's all low and it's all low all the time. So if you're getting replacement therapy, that's one of the big things that they'll work with you on, is finding the optimal levels for you in terms of what your dosages need to be and timing and all of that. And then they'll test. Some doctors go more by symptoms, and other doctors like to do the testing consistently. But yeah, you don't get the cycle fluctuations, the hormone, especially not the wild swings of high and low estrogen that we normally get during our cycles, and the progesterone doing this. Testosterone is supposed to always be pretty much the same. So like, it doesn't matter as much what time of the month you get your testosterone tested, but for progesterone and estrogen, they usually recommend like around day 21, which would be about a week after ovulation and a week before your next cycle. And if you're irregular, they say about a week before your next cycle, when you can suspect.
I wonder what they're going to do with me, being a woman who's had a partial hysterectomy, and I have no idea. Like, I don't have cycles anymore. Sometimes I feel that I've ovulated, like I can feel my ovary, but I don't feel that every month. I can only feel that, I don't know, when the ovary's being difficult. I don't know. But sometimes I feel it, on one side, then the other, and then I don't feel it, for a few months. So who knows? I don't know what they'll do to get those levels.
I just want to thank you because, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, there's more and more women. I keep meeting us partial hysterectomy women that still have our ovaries. Like I'm like, oh yeah, me too. I've met so many. So they must have a protocol or something that they do.
Yeah, I think I've seen it, but I don't remember what it was. They do have a way of, they'll tell you, okay, just do it at this time.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you because I'm going to Hack Your Health next week. Are you headed to Low Carb Cruise here?
I am. Yes. I'm so sad I'll be missing all my friends at Hack Your Health, though.
We got to meet up at some low carb event in the future for sure.
Well, you should come to Ketopalooza.
Yes, we'll be at Ketopalooza in October.
They're so sad. Like, I don't want to go to Hack Your Health with this extra 13, 14 pounds. I don't, they don't have space for that. They just think, well, why didn't you fast more? Or have you secretly been binge eating it? Those are the assumptions that go through everybody's head. There is absolutely zero space for, no, I actually have a medical issue. And if I freak my body out by trying to push what it doesn't want right now, it doesn't want me to have, it wants me to have this 13 pounds for some reason. I hate it. I don't like it, but I don't know. So I just feel like I have a little compassion for myself, even when other people might not. And also have some compassion for you too, that you're headed on this cruise. And but no compassion, actually jealousy.
Well, yes, I can relate in saying I wish I was a little leaner before I get on a cruise ship, going to the islands, wearing bikinis. But at least they're not stage bikinis that I'll be wearing at the pool. So, and I can wear cover-ups and all of that. So, too funny. We were just yesterday, today's Tuesday, I did my Monday masterclass, and I did it on body image and the emotional roller coaster of this health and fitness journey, and how we have these ups and downs. And I have one of my clients who was mentioning how, she will try on 10 different things in her closet because she doesn't like the way it touches her skin and her fat and this, that, and the other, right? And I was saying how great it is. I think it's actually a wonderful coping mechanism to find something comfortable for you to wear that you feel good in, and not feeling like, oh, I hate the way this particular outfit fits on me now, and I just have to wear it, Go into your closet, try on all the things if you need to try on all the things. Wear something that makes you feel good, feel confident, comfortable. And so I will be packing both the form-fitting and the loose-fitting. You just never know, and prepared for anything. And I'm just excited. I absolutely love the Low Carb Cruise. It is such an incredible group of people. It's so close-knit. You get real time with people. It's like a smaller incubator kind of environment, and it's amazing. I mean, I love the people behind it. So if anybody is interested in the Low Carb Cruise next year, we are going to Alaska And I cannot freaking wait, y'all.
I'm going to. We already signed up.
Are you going to Alaska? I've been kicking that one around because they have to like set. I've never been on a cruise. They have to set sail or whatever it's called from my side of the country. So I wouldn't have to like go to Florida or somewhere first to get on that boat. I can just drive.
Sign up sooner than later. We just got an email that they lowered our balcony price by $800. So
yes,
the sooner you sign up, the better.
When you say we, Adrian, are you going with your husband? Who's we?
Yeah, my husband's coming.
Your husband. That's awesome.
He won't attend any of the conference, but he'll come enjoy Alaska.
This is what I tell people. That's the cool thing about the cruise is you can easily make it a family vacation and they'll actually want to go because it's just not a low carb conference. It's a low carb conference on the sea.
And it's a big, beautiful ship with an indoor pool.
That sounds
I'm
magical.
excited about Alaska.
Oh yes,
yeah, and you've got a year to pay it off.
Oh yeah, long run.
There's that.
There is that.
We had no idea which direction this conversation was going to go, but honestly, it's been medicinal. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, we had so many questions, but we stuck on this topic and I think it was so good. Like I got a lot out of it. It's like motivating me. I need to call my OBGYN because I know she'll test me and just get it done. I tend to procrastinate these things because I'm busy and whatever. And I just put it off to I don't prioritize myself in that way. And I need to.
That is, and you are not alone. That is a woman problem. That is a mother problem. It's always everybody else, right? I do the same thing. I have that list of OBGYNs and I have not gone back to it yet. So, you know what? I could do that by the pool on the cruise ship.
There you go. Bruce, you're cracking me up. I had to put that one up there. Well, Adrian, I think it's time to roar. What do you say?
Yeah. Is everybody ready to get your roars in the comments? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Roar.
Roar.
Oh, you guys are good. Roar.
Let's go in the comments, guys.
I won't see them.
I don't see them roaring. Oh, no.
There we go.
Karen, first one to roar.
You stick it off.
Thank you, Karen.
I'm going to write it. Me. Oh, they're coming.
There we go. I don't know what was happening. Usually we get so many roars. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, Nia. Look at Nia. Woo. It was like a purr and a roar and a.
We got heart too.
Thank you. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Simpson. And here's Ellie's roar. All right. Well, I would just love to thank everyone for watching. We're so glad you were here. And we have a few more roars. We will see you next week when we have another awesome guest scheduled for you guys. But until then, we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.